A lot of people think they can't make good scrambled eggs, and a lot of people think they perfected them, but they haven't. Today, we're gonna tackle both of these problems in the ultimate scrambled egg recipe. Welcome back to the Dalstrong Culinary Academy. Why are people so sensitive about their eggs?
You know, it's the first meal they have when they wake up. It's a pretty personal thing, and if they don't get them the way they expect, it kind of throws everything off. So it's almost like the way they interpret eggs is the best way possible, and if it's not delivered, they get a little offended.
Do you get offended when people don't cook your eggs the way you like them?
I'm pretty easy. I'm not too picky about it, but I always cook them the same way.
And that's the way we're gonna learn how today.
Yeah.
All right, chef, what's your mise en place for scrambled eggs?
The main ingredient, they have to be top notch. These are free range eggs. They're from many different types of eggs. As you can see here, they're all different shapes, colors, sizes. I like the variety, but I know that because they're all different, they come from very many different plots. So they're coming together and they're optimal quality. Freshness is key with scrambled eggs. They're gonna give you better creaminess, better mouthfeel, better texture. They're not gonna overcook very quickly. So that's the important part. We don't want old eggs. They're gonna be watery, they're gonna get dry, and they won't be as creamy. So that's what we're trying to focus on. And if we are ever curious as to how to test if an egg is fresh, simply put an egg inside a glass of water.
Okay.
If the egg sinks to the bottom, it's fresh. If it starts to stand up, it's not as fresh. If it floats any, then it's very old.
Can I ask you a question about the color of the egg itself?
Sure.
I've seen eggs that are brown, obviously white. I've also seen eggs that are bluish in color. Does that have anything to do with the flavor profile of the egg itself after it's been cooked?
Not so much. It's just the actual breed of chicken that's laying the egg that is different. For the most part, they all taste the same.
What else? We got fat. We need fat to cook the eggs in.
Fat is very important. So I use 3 fat components or dairy components for the most part in this. So I use unsalted butter, I use olive oil, and I use creme fraiche or sour cream.
Okay.
Okay, and they all have different roles to play. Oil, what that does is it actually helps prevent the butter from burning when we put it in the pan initially. Then I'm gonna cook my eggs. And when it's time, at the very end, I'm going to add my creme fraiche or sour cream. And what that's gonna do, it's gonna give it even more richness and more creaminess, but it has that little edge of acidity that's gonna help really make all the flavors pop.
All right. Anything else? I see some other things here, but this is just for what? Garnish, the chives and whatnot?
This is more for finishing. Yeah, we have some beautiful sourdough here we're gonna grill up, and then our eggs will go right on top of that with some smoked salmon. Be very delicious. But that salmon can be anything. It could be ham, it could be, shaved melon, whatever you really want.
Sure.
And you like with your breakfast, go for it.
What other techniques in making just scrambled eggs, in the world of scrambled eggs alone, are there? And do you know what they are and have you made them before?
Yeah, so I mean, I've done the American style eggs where it's fluffy and it's fast on a griddle or in a pan. The Japanese style is done in a non-stick pan with chopsticks that you slowly turn and corkscrew into a little mound, and then you transfer it and you plate it. And then the French, they do a double boiler method where they take a pot with water and a bowl inside and they whisk it very, very slowly. And we're gonna kind of do a hybrid today between the French method and the American method.
Step 1, crack the eggs, I'm assuming, into the bowls?
Yeah, so we're gonna crack the eggs first, but there's a method to it just to help you, protect yourself from losing all your other good eggs as you crack, because sometimes we have bad eggs. Some of them might have blood spots or something we don't want inside of it, or maybe they're spoiled for some reason. So what you generally do is you take an egg and you crack it into a smaller bowl first, and we inspect the egg to make sure it's to our standard, and then we add it to our big bowl. Okay, so we're always going to crack an egg on a flat surface, because if you crack it on something with an edge, it's gonna push the broken shell into the actual egg itself, which could cause salmonella to spread, and you could break your yolk, and you'll get eggshells into your actual final dish. So basically crack it flat. Okay. So this is a pretty good egg right here, so we're just gonna go ahead and add it to our bowl. So for this, for us to have breakfast, we'll call it, we're gonna do 6 eggs to this recipe.
Okay.
Okay, so it's 6 whole eggs. Once that's done, what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a little bit of water to that. And what that's gonna do is it's basically gonna help the cooking temperature, the cooking point of the eggs, go to a higher level.
Right.
So this means that we can actually cook our eggs farther and they won't get rigid.
Is there a ratio of water to egg? How much water would you put in for 6 eggs, say?
I'd probably put like 2 or 3 tablespoons.
Oh, so very, very small.
Very little, right?
Okay.
And then we're gonna whip that really, really well. And try to just break down as much of that connective tissue inside the egg so that we can get a really creamy, fluid egg.
Yeah.
If we leave it whole and start stirring in the pan, You will eventually break them up, but you run the risk of maybe having like little clumps of egg white here or there, depending on how attentive you are to your breakfast.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, so we got our 6 eggs cracked, and it's time to beat or whisk them.
So we're gonna add a little bit of water.
Are you salting them now too?
No, we don't salt. We don't salt our eggs until they're finished cooking. Because salt, what it does is it actually pulls moisture out of the egg, and you're gonna get a dry, rubbery egg.
Remember that, everybody.
Yeah. So
no
salt
salting
at
of the
end.
eggs.
And even for pepper, when you're especially like I use black pepper only, the color of the pepper can actually bleed into your eggs and make a grayish kind of effect. So I don't put pepper till the very end, just on top. So when you're getting your eggs ready to be whipped, basically what I like to do is I like to take a fork or a spoon and basically just go and basically pre-pop all the yolks. It's something you want to do because you don't want to chase it around the bowl. And then what's going to happen is if you don't poke those yolks and you're whisking aggressively, you might end up losing an egg over the edge of your bowl. Okay. So this is going to cause everything to just break down a lot faster. So basically we're just going to whip it up real good, okay?
You're aerating them right now, right?
We're adding air to this. Yes, we are, absolutely.
Chef, if you wouldn't mind stopping for a minute, I'd like to give the audience a bit of a history lesson.
Sure.
This is the part where normally I'd tell you all about the history and cultural significance of this dish. But these are only scrambled eggs. There's no story to tell, no secret, right? Well, wrong. Turns out, we've been scrambling eggs for over 5,000 years. There's even evidence from people scrambling ostrich eggs over fire in ancient Egypt. But there's something else you probably didn't know about this quintessential breakfast. It goes back to ancient Rome, and it kind of blew my mind. I'll tell you about it in a minute. But first, there's something important happening over here. Eggs are being made, and that's what we're here for.
Okay, so our first step in making our scrambled eggs is to take our butter, get it in the pan, melt it down, and kind of get a little bit of color on it. We want to make it a little bit nutty in terms of flavor. So that's what we're doing. We're browning the butter. So don't be shy.
Are we on low heat? I guess we're on low heat right now, right?
We are on, I want enough heat to help melt that and get it caramelized. So we're medium heat right now.
Okay, you just don't want to burn it, right?
You don't want to burn it. You want to toast. Now at this point, we can actually raise the temperature, get it hotter.
Okay.
But then we're going to drop it down when the eggs go in, okay? So I'm going to get this much hotter, okay?
Okay.
The butter is going to do something. It's going to start to bubble. And it's, that's starting to foam.
Right.
That means those fat solids are starting to caramelize. It's going to be a nutty, hazelnutty kind of flavor, okay?
Now, can I ask you a question about the pan itself? This is a non-stick pan, or is it it's a regular stainless steel pan?
This is a regular stainless steel pan. I mean, you can cook even, sunny side up eggs in a stainless steel pan. You just have to make sure your heat is correct for it, right?
And I think that's a big problem for a lot of home cooks when they're making eggs. They start sticking to the bottom of the pan, and that's because it's too hot, right?
Well, a lot of times what happens is people actually don't get the pan hot enough. So if you're using a stainless steel pan to cook a sunny side up egg, if it's not hot enough and that oil's not dancing and shimmering in the pan, that egg is gonna stick.
Got it. Okay.
So that is phase one here, okay? So as soon as I see a little bit of color change in that foamy butter, I'm gonna take it off the heat, I'm gonna add some olive oil. That's gonna help drop the temperature, and it's gonna keep it from burning. And now I'm just gonna take that right there, off the heat. I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil, okay? So this is not the most low calorie breakfast. So, we have to accept that.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now that I've added my olive oil, I'm gonna let this sit. I'm gonna turn my heat down to about halfway. And then once it's cooled down, and I can, physically touch the oil with my hand and it doesn't burn, then I'm gonna go ahead and add my eggs. And then I'm gonna slowly bring the temperature up.
So there's one thing there's a common theme throughout this entire process is it's temperature control. It's very important when cooking scrambled eggs.
Very much so.
Temperature control. So what do you think the biggest mistake is when home cooks try to make scrambled eggs?
Probably not enough fat and either too high or too low.
The heat. Yeah. Okay.
That's what I would say. Or they're using a pot, for this pan itself, like the actual pan you're using is important. So the wider the vessel, the faster your eggs will cook. But if you put 6 eggs in a very, very small sauce pot, that's gonna take forever.
Everything comes into play.
So now I'm just gonna feel this with my hand. I'm gonna touch that oil, and I can touch it, it's not burning me, okay? So it's cooled down. So now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to add my eggs right in. Okay.
The whole thing, okay. And this is off the heat now.
It's off the heat, and now I'm gonna put it back on the heat, just like that, and we're on medium heat, okay?
Right.
And now we're just gonna slowly cook this.
And this is important because you cannot really stop this now once you started, right? Is that the idea? Or like risotto, where you have to constantly keep it?
Kind of. The main thing for us is we're trying to basically create an egg custard in a pan without using a double boiler. So we just really want that heat to constantly be moved around so everything kind of thickens at the same time.
Right.
Okay.
All right, so I went and got a coffee and I walked around the block a couple of times. I'm back here now. It's been about 20 minutes. How are we doing here, chef?
So this is at the stage that I was trying to explain earlier about, the creaminess. Is it done? Is it not? So we're pretty close when basically when you run your spatula through the actual pot, you get that parting of the seed, right?
Yeah.
That is the border of cooked and uncooked.
Are we close to adding the sour cream or creme fraiche?
Yeah, we are very close. So I'm gonna put it back on the heat here, okay? And we're just gonna don't stop moving the pan. And now we're gonna start to see the curd start to form. So that's like, we're almost there. You can see how creamy that is.
At what point do you start to season these, salt them or add your spices, etc.?
Just before they go onto our toast.
Okay, so
It's literally at the last second. Because if I do it before I add the sour cream or the creme fraiche, it's gonna leach everywhere.
Okay.
So now you can see here, my curds are actually standing on their own. They're pretty much right where we want them to be.
Yeah.
Okay. And it takes a while.
Yeah,
good things take time, and that's fine, right?
Before we plate up and taste this breakfast, remember I said there was something about ancient Rome and scrambled eggs? Well, in the earliest documented recipe in the 14th century cookbook, Libro della Cucina, scrambled eggs weren't presented as breakfast. They were dessert, served not with beautiful tomatoes or olive oil soaked bread, but with honey. As an aside, tomatoes, the quintessential ingredient to 99% of our favorite Italian dishes, didn't even exist in Italy in the 14th century. They came a couple of hundred years later, but that's another story for another day. So chef, are we adding honey now?
No, we're not adding honey. We're gonna finish with our creme fraiche.
Okay, that's right.
Okay, so to our eggs, which are really nice and creamy, as we can all see here, okay?
They're exactly like a custard.
Like a custard.
Like a
you
custard.
don't want them fluffy and rubbery, we want them light and creamy, okay? So at this point here, I'm gonna whisk in my creme fraiche, and that's just gonna give it this gloss and creaminess that you should be looking for, okay?
Yeah.
And now we're here, we're gonna add our salt.
Ah, finally we add the salt.
And a bit of pepper, some chives, and so now we're gonna taste it and make sure our seasoning is where it needs to be.
Come on, man.
I think it's great.
They look like no scrambled eggs that I have seen at any buffet in my life. So I'm thinking that they're very, very good.
Okay, so I'm gonna plate this up almost like you would serve risotto. So flat on a plate so that it doesn't overcook and you get the true creaminess. It's gonna flow, and then we'll garnish it with some of our great smoked salmon and our grilled sourdough.
Sounds good.
So you can take some of your smoked salmon and just kind of place it.
How can you tell this guy does this for a living, am I right?
A little bit of paprika.
Yeah.
Okay, just to give it some color.
Some more chives.
A little more chives because you can never really have enough. And I'm gonna finish it with just a pinch more salt. And then we can serve it with our toast just here on the side.
And that's how you take scrambled eggs to a place you've never seen before. Thank you, chef.
By all means.
It's my turn. Oh man, thank you. Very delicious.
My pleasure.
As usual.
Happy to share.
Very delicious. Thanks to Chef Gaetano for showing us how technique and care can elevate even the most humble ingredients, and for showing us that there are a lot of ways to get scrambled eggs just right, and you can make them all your way.